Hi writers and readers, I'm Christy Stratus and today is Morrowind's 15-year anniversary. How amazing is that? If you don't know what Morrowind is, it's the third game in the Elder Scrolls series. I love that game. It's my all-time favorite game. If there was one game I could play for the rest of my life and that's all I could do for the rest of my life, it would be Morrowind. Anytime somebody says, what fantasy world would you live in if you could, I just say Morrowind. I don't have to think about it at all. I've always loved it. I've been playing it since high school and I don't have as much time for it now, unfortunately, but I'm going to make time for it today. So I'm really excited about that. It's just amazing to think that it's 15 years old and it is one of the most, I think it's maybe the most popular game in the Elder Scrolls series. So today, in honor of its 15-year anniversary, I really wanted to share with you why it actually impacted my writing. First of all, this is a Morrowind shirt and it's from Gamer Zach, so I'm just going to leave his links down below in case you like Morrowind or you want to check him out. He does nostalgia gaming and Morrowind is something he does too. Another thing that I have that's Morrowind related, because when I really get into something, I really get into it. So I have these rings that I'm going to show you. They're actually technically Skyrim rings. They have the same armor from Morrowind that's in Skyrim as well. Some of them are different, but these rings apply to both games. So I'm gonna link that Etsy store down below. I really love them, they're great. So I know what you're thinking, like, why is she so obsessed with this game? And like I said, when I get attached to something, I really get attached to it. It's something I love, and I feel the same way about books. So I do have the original Morrowind when they came out with the extension packs and everything. Tribunal and Blood Moon, I have all of this. It is so worn. It's so worn from just, I have the original map, it's falling apart. So anyway, how does this relate to my writing? Well, it's really interesting because it was really the predecessor to a lot of ways that I currently write that I didn't know I was going to write that way in the future. One thing about Morrowind, I had never played an RPG game before, I had never played an open world game. So when I started playing it, I was amazed at the options that you had. Creating a character was amazing. You know, you could pick what they look like, you could adjust pretty much everything about them. You could pick what race you wanted to be, you could pick what star sign you wanted to have, what benefits that would bring. Just everything you can think of you got to pick. And I really enjoyed that, and I would actually sit there forever like really thinking about it like it mattered so much, but it did to me. One of the things I ended up doing was, because of this character creation thing, yes, I played the game, I loved the game, doing the quests was a lot of fun for me. It was something I very much enjoyed, maybe even more than the main quest. When I was in high school, I worked as a cashier at a supermarket, and so when there was absolutely nothing to do at all, I would just print out some extra receipt paper and I would write out characters on the receipt paper. And this was really the predecessor, I didn't know it yet, to my books now are, and all of my works are really just character centric, all about character development. There isn't even a plot in them. It's really all about following the characters and their lives and their psychology and everything else. And so, you know, I would stand there and I would just, you know, on the side be like writing out these characters, what are their names, what are their goals, what are they doing, who are they, stuff like that. And I would never be writing quests or anything, it would be the characters. That was something, and I recently remember that because I found one of those pieces of paper in a book that I was using as a bookmark. And now I want to find it so I can take a picture of it, but it has disappeared again. It just doesn't want to be shown on camera. That was one way Morrowind actually did impact me, and I started to realize in time that characters were the most important thing for me. Another thing was that I had never really, I just sort of took for granted the writing in games. I never thought about it because I would play these games that, you know, they didn't include, they had a decent story maybe, but nothing super fantastic about the characters, so I didn't really notice the writing that much. But in Morrowind, I was realizing how many books, I don't know if it's hundreds of books in Morrowind or how many there are, but it's an incredible amount. I was realizing somebody's writing all of the books in this game. Somebody's writing all the dialogue, and there's a ton of dialogue. Somebody is writing all the quests. Who's coming up with this stuff? And that was when I first realized that all of these things needed to be written by somebody. It just had never occurred to me. And I found out that there's such a thing as like quest writers. I think that was a Bethesda position at some point. And I found that totally fascinating, and the idea of writing for a living in a way that was not being a novelist or a journalist or something had never occurred to me. So that was really an interesting thing for me to realize. and the idea that you could take something like a quest and just write a piece of something, because whenever I had written before that, I would write a whole big thing and I would never think of it in chunks. Well, how do I write nowadays? I write in chunks. Not necessarily quests, but I write in little bits, and I go to the middle and then the beginning and then the end and then the middle, and I put all these little bits together to create one storyline. Morrowind was what made me realize that you can do that kind of writing, because I really had no idea at first. So those are a couple of ways that Morrowind impacted my writing and really brought me to the point I am today. It took me a while to get to this point of writing and my style of writing and understanding how I should go about it and the most efficient way for me to do it. But this was definitely the predecessor to that. It got me started with it, and I think that that's a really cool connection that I have with this game. So I will be playing Morrowind today. Happy 15-year anniversary to you, Morrowind, and as always, thank you so much for spending time with me.